Hey, this is Mike from Absolute Comfort and Son Heating and Cooling. We're in York, Pennsylvania. We service the York, Lancaster, and Hanover area for all your HVAC needs as far as residential replacement, maintenance, and repair. We're open 24/7, and we change lives 1 degree at a time. That's what we're here to do. You can get a hold of us at 717-814-2070 or 818-1785. Our website is absolutecomfortandsonllc.com, and we can reach 24 hours a day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another Road to Results podcast where we're all about uncovering the mindset journey. I'm Rhy, that's Ray, and I'm Rhy. Either way you slice that pie. Welcome to another episode, and we want to thank you for all of you who are rocking with us. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you can get notified every time. Not only do we drop an episode, especially when we drop them shorts, y'all, because if you haven't seen our shorts yet, they are definitely nuggets of knowledge, just these little potent fireballs for you to kind of pep you up throughout your day. So we are excited again. Fuego to really just have this opportunity, number one, to document our 52-week coaching program experience under the leadership of Dr. Eric Thomas, aka E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. So yeah, what's going on, Ray? Mr. Do the Prep Work, what's cracking, bruh?
Do the prep work. I'm over here trying to prep so I can make sure I engage with these people on the lives. But yeah, man, hey, you getting ready to do some things. We've been doing some prep work for some stuff, both for the rest and the additional work and results. Yeah, man, so big ticket item on the end of this week, I think, for both of us. You and wifey getting ready to go experience everything that God has put on this earth for us to enjoy. Heading out to Belgium.
Yep, we're headed out to Belgium. Yes, sir.
So that you find out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we are flying out. So it's so here's just little context. Danielle's her bucket list is to see Christmas markets. Right, one of her bucket list items is to see Christmas markets. So we're like, yo, if you want to see Christmas markets, research the best of the best. And so the best is apparently, and we're gonna find this out, it's in Brussels, Burgess, and Amsterdam. So we are flying out, and we'll be out there for 11 days. If you don't already follow the hashtag, y'all, hashtag Ryell Adventure. All right, hashtag RHYELLE Adventure, and you will see the journeys that Danielle and I have been on for the last 17 years. Y'all, we've been married 15, but we've been traveling for 17, and that's the one thing she wants to see. So my baby love gets to see Belgium this week. So excited for that. But yeah, no, and then come on, man, let's talk about it, because I know you also got some beautiful things brewing up in the next couple days. Yeah. Shout out to Eva. We got our fam out there. Eva, what's going on? Fam. Eva Palacios. If you don't got your credit right, you better go holla at Eva so that we can get you that tight work, that FICO tight work.
If you can't read finances, financial literacy,
come on.
Eva is the one that'll get you right. She gets you tight, get you all those free travel points, experience, everything from getting your credit straight to actually leveraging your finances the correct way. To, I don't know. Me and Eva had some conversation. I know y'all have as well. But yeah, so if y'all haven't, even do us a favor today.
Hang on.
Van and I will be flying out tomorrow morning as well, or tomorrow afternoon, heading over to Orlando, Florida, because Carl Wesley Phillips Conference, the Moving Past Potential Conference, kicks off live and direct in Orlando, Florida, Friday morning. So, man, it's just great to see, everything we talk about here, man, the road to results, the journey on the way to it, and actually be able to be in the midst of the things that you've been putting some energy and effort towards. So I'm excited. The squad is excited. So yeah. And then Monday while we're there, Vea. Yeah, but kids will remember nothing And then, you mentioned a region, and I said Florida when this thing first came up, and she's like, isn't that where is it Disney? Is it Disney? I'm like, you know exactly what's there. So we will conference. Everything will end Sunday evening, and then I'll be taking her to Disney World for a day on Monday, and then we'll fly back here on Tuesday. So you got to enjoy it, man. We got to enjoy it. But like you said, it's not just about going there and grinding all the time. You got to enjoy the travel and some of the things. Disney is not on my bucket list, but it is on Vea's bucket list, and it'll always be on her bucket list as long as it can be a list to be had. So yeah, she's gonna enjoy that, and I'll manage my patience and energy management while at this theme park. So yeah.
All right, do me a favor, bro. Real quick though, just on your camera. So whenever you see yourself being off focus, this is a hack for all those who use DSLRs. No, just put your hand in front of the camera like this, and then it'll focus on you, and then pull it back there and just make sure it gets focused. So we got the same camera. So, so let's talk about that. So this is actually going to be released right before the new year, right? So we don't have to go deep into the reflections right now of the year, but I would like us just to talk about that a little bit, because something that I was at a meeting with Danielle and her team, and obviously, especially in real estate, things are seasonal depending on the market you're in. And so in here, South Carolina, right, usually December, January can be a little bit slower. Obviously, the weather isn't too enticing or inviting. People who are like looking for houses need to move like at this time of the year. But then I was thinking about it to myself, like, maybe that's what God intended, though. Right? When we think about the Advent season and we think about preparation, right, because Advent means to prepare. And there's just this idea for those of you who are into the Advent candle, right? Especially in the church, there's like a candle every week and one gets lit up each time, representing the light of the world that's coming. And so I feel like in December for me is like, yes, let's make sure that we're still kind of thinking about our Q1, Q2, upcoming goals. But like the grind for me, just flat out, if I'm being transparent, it isn't like the first 11 months of the year. And one of the things that Danielle and I talked about when I first started working in schools, I was like, I want to have a school schedule. Summer's off. I want to have those holidays off, the Thanksgiving breaks off, like intentionally, so that I can just really be present. So for all of us out there, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and those aspiring to be, I think for me, this lesson in December was, we worked our tails off, and we still are. And now we're seeing the fruits of the labor that we're putting in. And so not to like think, I'm not doing enough. Because I think people are stuck in that space of like, okay, I got to get ready for next year. Got to get these goals set. But then there's like that, but wait a minute, like, let's enjoy all the work that we put in, right? There's that, it's like a tricky dance back and forth. So yeah, speak to that. But like, what is your mindset when it comes to keeping the momentum, but also like staying where your feet are, like we say time and time again. And then also just like, we look back at everything we've done in the last 2 quarters since the Mastermind, the places we've been, the experiences that we've had, the people we've met, the projects we're on, the projects that we've helped complete. Bro, like honestly, pre-Mastermind, none of that stuff would have been on my radar.
And I think we talked about it last time on the last episode we did. It's, what do we say? Like being both content and being driven. Like, man, it's such a or we say balanced rhythm. It's something that you just have to continue to be aware of, because you can have, like, you truly can have that, like you said, like, I want that school schedule. I want that summer job. I want spring break. I feel like the school, they just keep adding stuff. They have fall break, then Thanksgiving break, then winter break. I'm like, yo, do y'all work at all from October on? These babies got to go somewhere. Let me bam. But being content with the experience you're currently having, based off the fruits of your labor, but still understanding that there's so much further that you want to go.
Yeah.
So be content with the work that you've done to this point and enjoy the fruits of that, but also understand, and it's okay, because I think some people mix it up. It's like, I still got so much, and I think, I've been a product of that. I still got so much more I need to get done. Like, I still got so much more that we're not enjoying the moment or the progress that we've made to this point. But it's okay. Like we talked earlier, the two things can be true at once. And a lot of times it's this or that. I'm either content or I'm super ambitious. No, it's this and that. I am content with the things that I've done up until this point, and I'm enjoying this moment, and I'm enjoying this experience. But I still have some things that I want to grow into. I still have some visions that have yet to come to fruition. Because, for real, bro. That's what, it's, multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. So, be fruitful. Be full of the fruits of the things that you've been doing. But also, there's a time to multiply. Like, we got to be able to do that. So how do we be content and still look forward to just understanding that it's always going to be that process that we're always moving. That's why I say road to results, uncovering the mindset journey. There is no end state. There is no off ramp. When you're done, it's well done, that good and faithful servant. That's when you're done. But you just continue to grow. You have that growth. Like, you have that focus. You have that intent. Like, we have to be moving in some sort of direction, because if we're not moving, we're dying. If we're stagnant, we're rusting over, bones start to creak. Like, that's where your body, mentally, you're checked out. Physically, your body starts to sit and ache. But you look back on all those things, and you say it all the time, man. You say, we look back so that we can move forward. Look back and celebrate all the things we've done, all the efforts you've done. Yeah, not everything's going to be super exciting. Not everything's going to be of the most joyful moments, but you have to understand that it's just part of the process. And as long as you keep moving, that view is going to change just a little bit every single day. As long as you keep growing, that view, that perspective, the things that you get to see, the destinations you get to travel to, it's all going to look a little bit different, man. And maybe for the first time, or for the first time in a long time. But either way, yeah, man, it's just understanding, hey, you can be content and still be ambitious. And I think it's super important just to understand, when I say content, that doesn't mean stop. That just means appreciate.
Yep.
Reflect.
Facts. No, that's good. And I love, for us being in the mastermind, and for those who watch, follow the pod and are in the mastermind also, I love the test I feel like it's a test that we're putting through, because we're, on the accountability call, it's like, okay, what is your marketing strategy? How are you taking care of your people? What is your plan? What is the strategy? And then you got E coming in today talking about, man, got to take that time for yourself though. Right. So it's that messaging of like, and again, this is where I think discernment really comes into play. Like, all the messages are meant for us. Now, how we respond to them and what they mean for us is going to look different. And I think that's where it's important when you're in a community, especially like the mastermind, the UOU mastermind. Folks we out there running. Folks are out there running, but we don't want to confuse, right? Like, we don't want to compare in the sense of like, oh, okay, we should be doing what they're doing because we're part of the same community. No, it's like, you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I think I love it because when we're around so many successful people, in the sense of, because they have the clarity, because they're starting to get more opportunities, because they've had breakthroughs, because all the different ways that we're seeing the success. And again, that's super subjective, not talking just financially, but when we look around and we see all the success, it makes, like, it could be easy to fall into that trap and start comparing yourself. And that's what I love about, or when I think about the mental test there, is to not get caught up in that, celebrate the people in your community, but also know you're on your own journey. You're on your own journey. So, Ray, what you want to do is try to maybe tap your screen and then touch your face.
Give me a second. You keep chopping it up. I'm gonna close these blinds, and then I'm gonna grab something real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Melissa Thomas, Getting the Win Show. Let me see if I can just go in. Oh, this is the wrong solo screen. Let's use Ray's solo screen. There it is. I'll use Ray. So, but yeah, and again, right. So like Eva's saying, get in the right rooms, right? Your level of exposure, it definitely makes a difference. But I think that's something I learned this year is that, okay, we got in the room or even started, since last year, Phenomenal Life 2022. Like we got exposed to Maul. We met, E and CJ. We met the whole community and some. And then we decided we did 120 Chicago. And then we did the Mastermind. And so now we've been meeting more and more people who in their own lane, rightfully so, are successful. And it could be easy to like compare yourself. It could be easy to compare your journey. But something I just want to, remind all of us is like, yo, you are on your journey and on God's time. So just continue to look. Like for me, when I look at all the success around me, the way I look at it is like when I think about it, I'm like, yo, it's possible. When I look at all the success, and I say when it's possible, I mean what's possible is not only can we do well for ourselves and our family, but we can do it with a community of caring, loving people. We can do it with character. We can do it in a way that where we don't have to sell our soul. That's one of the best lines E said at Chicago 120. Y'all, we got the best, we got New York Times bestseller. And then he said, without selling our soul. Without selling our soul. And the fact that we always say time and time again, money is low-hanging fruit. And I love it because when we're reminded of that, service first. Just continue to just walk into your gift. Right? The money is going to be the byproduct of that. The money is going to be the byproduct. So it's important that we really just continue as we're in this season, this last year or last month of the year, to really just take some time, right, in that reflection time to know like, hey, you've come a long way. Yes, you watching this video, you have come a long way. The fact that you're even watching this video and listening to this podcast and just taking the nuggets you're getting is already the fact that you've come a long way. And Ray and I are here to just say, look, we know it's not easy. We know it's a struggle. We know it has its ups and downs. It's a rhythm, but you're not alone. You're not alone. And when you look around, just know you got, again, I'm speaking on the mastermind, on behalf of the mastermind, but we look around and we know we got each other like that. We know we got each other. Like we're going to check in online, offline. We are going to pour our hearts out. We are going to bring vulnerability and real resources and real support. And if that's something that you don't have, that's something that you lack, that's something that might be missing, then I might even just start there before you make any other steps moving forward. Like, are you even in a community or in a partnership or surrounding people in business that are going to really help you, support you, and take you to the next level?
Love it. Welcome back. Nah, man, it's just, you see people in the chat, man. People in the chat. Shout out to, my brother Wayne Mitch. Went from lawn care. Now he's getting into the point of, starting his own travel agent, business, and he's been putting stuff up like that. But when you're just saying community, man, and support and people being out there, man, I had to go grab, and I hadn't intended on it, but I left it on the counter because I needed I got me some green tea, it's weather, want to be inconsistent, but I had to grab this note. I had to. And just because you were saying it's like looking back on the year, and this is from our good sister Melissa Thomas, our book lady, owner, operator, host of Getting the Win show. So she sent me some. She sent both of us some merch, which is absolutely. And I'll show that here in a minute. I wanted to wear it, but I wore it yesterday. And I was supposed to watch it last night, and I did not. So my bad. But she just said, hey, thanks for being the good bully. Your insights in the Mastermind and on the Road to Results podcast and in your own break information are life-changing. Thanks again for also bringing me into the fold with ET's 365 Devotional. So that part right there, obviously, is gracious to work with. But right here, she said, you already know God has amazing things planned for you. And shout out to your growth in choosing to slow down. And I think that's so cute when you have people that recognize, because sometimes what you naturally are, and we talk, I'm moving quick, the projects we're doing, something like that. And even in the morning masterminds, it was intentional to, like with everything I'm doing, like it is not that the content of the conversation, but getting up that early I was peaking like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, like I was done. And I don't take naps. just makes me feel worse. So I was peaking, but I had to choose to slow down. But like people recognizing that thing, she said, in choosing to slow down, sometimes breakneck speed risks a massive crash, which equals more downtime than you would want. Pulling back a bit not only affords you the momentum to fly further when God releases you to, but also allows you to zoom out, zoom out,
Come on.
zoom in, to zoom out and see more of what you need to see so that by the time you do fly that distance, you'll land directly on the target because you have seen what to avoid and bypass it completely. So, man, it's just like I had to read that because when she said it, when she sent it, you know, I didn't expect to get a note with it. She already said she was going to send us some merch.
Hey, I got the hoodie. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Go getters. Go getters.
But like the note, like just to send that note along, just to think like, and to recognize like we know us as people, we spend so much time together that we know who we are as individuals, and just be like, hey, just recognizing that you're slowing down, like shout out to you, versus other people like, yo, where are you at? I've been seeing you run all the time. Like I was like, oh, like the goal isn't to burn out. The goal is to, you know, be in alignment, to be at peace, and to, you know, move in a way that is, yes, in service of others, but still something that you can sustain. So when it's like when you were talking about E saying, hey, yeah, grind, but also, you know, be in the moment, be present, be where your feet are, and enjoy where you're at. There's always going to be work to be done. There is always going to be work to be done. Nothing you do or accomplish in this very moment is going to change that. And the thing with us entrepreneurs, or I don't want to say self-starters, but people start getting to this growth mindset and in this family, in this community, one of the things that we're always going to know is we're always going to find something else to grow in, to grow into, to grow with, whether we're growing in a community, whether we're growing in our own spiritual development, whether we're growing our finances, we're always going to find something because we're in a community and we've developed ourselves to a point where we're always looking for something we can improve. Not tear down, but we're always looking for something that we can improve, whether it's something with one another or something individually or something for somebody else. That's what this Friday was, me looking for something that I can improve for somebody else, but operating as me. And I can only do that by slowing down with everything else that I was already doing, and some of it, I'm still actually doing. But I had to grab that note, sis. I had to read that. I wanted to wear the shirt, but I did laundry last night, and that shirt was still in my laundry basket. So my apologies, but I will have it in Florida.
Yeah. So yeah, man, this is gonna be probably released a week before Christmas, and then the last episode of the year will be our next recording. But you know, just looking back, bro. I mean, there's so much to celebrate. There's so many things, you know, again, like we did in our gratitude Thanksgiving video, to be thankful for. Like, what would you say, Eric? Man, let's start with this. Mindset wise, what's one of the biggest shifts mindset wise for you? Would you say happened to you in the last 2 quarters or since the mastermind?
Mindset shifts?
Yeah, because, you know, we're talking about uncovering the mindset journey. So I like the fact that your self-awareness is like, you know, the fact that you're slowing down and people are noticing that. But what, like, business-wise, principle-wise, what would you say is something that was new for you that, again, maybe it was uncomfortable, hard to, you know, get into at first, but then started seeing more and more now, like, yo, it's actually super fruitful, or thankful that my mindset shifted to this versus what it was?
I think I want to go back to what one of the things Eva and we always say is like, not all money is good money. And I say that because, yes, I was, you know, what someone referred to as highly productive in a space, but I wasn't at peace. But you have to be willing to endure some of those things in the beginning. And we've talked about it before. Like, you have to be able to endure some of those work, the diligent hand, to find the thing that's going to bring you peace. Instead of trying to, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You know, if you have the opportunity, you're blessed to be able to work in something that brings you peace right off the bat. That's great. But understanding and truly diving into, like, truly living into and embracing and uplifting, you know, that power verse, you know, count it pure joy, my brothers and sisters. Like in the beginning, it's always like, it was so hard to. But being able to endure something that I was or am successful in and productive in, but understanding that I cannot let that be the thing that I want to be identified by. If that makes sense. Just we'll say the real estate space, even being a veteran, like those aren't the things I want to be identified by. So slowing down, taking that step back, assessing and being aware of who I am, how I am, the way I am, where I'm at in life, and just what I actually want. Like, even just like, okay, yeah, I can do the front, like the face, the front, but it's not what I want to do, man. Like I want to be, as Sis started out, I want to be the good bully. I want to push you into something that I know you're capable of if you say that you want it for yourself. But there are going to be moments that are going to be difficult. It's not an if, it's a win. So for my mindset, man, it's like just looking at those moments of struggle, those moments of lack, those moments as those are opportunities. And I've never backed down from them before, but I've also never truly embraced them. It was just like, oh, it is what it is. And it's like, no, now it's like, okay, like what lesson am I getting from this? And then people are like, when people see it, like, hey, you good? Like, no, yeah, I'm good. Like there's a lesson here. I haven't caught it yet, but I'm paying attention. Like I'm paying attention. I'm not wallowing in what's happening or stressing about it. It's just like, okay, what can happen? What's going to come of this? What can I learn from this? And that's just truly that shift of, did trials and tribulations ever really intimidate me? No, but I think I met them with just as much aggressiveness as it was hitting me in my life. And it wasn't beneficial for those. Like you can see like the angst. I don't know, like if you want to put it, like it wasn't in a healthy way. And now it's just like, oh yeah, what's the lesson here? I was on with, bro, it's funny because I was on with, shout out to Absolute Comfort and Sons LLC. Shout out to Mike Haney.
Yeah.
I was on with him, I think earlier this week, or maybe at the end of last week. But bro, we were talking, man, and we were talking about just stuff that just in life right now. Just, stuff, life happens to all of us. It continues to go. Bro, and I was talking about it, man, and bro, and I started getting emotional. Just talking about the word and talking about trials and tribulations and just embracing it and getting that endurance and just understanding that he trusts you with this burden. Bro, like I started getting emotional with it. And I was like, oh yeah, even now, like, well, whew. It's, you can't have the blessing without the burden. You can't. And when we embrace that and we understand that if you're in this community, if you have that type of heart, and you're looking to grow and you're looking to improve you so that you can serve others, there's a certain level of acceptance and grace that you take on with it. And you understand it takes that vulnerability to give back. So.
Man, love you, bro. I'm just saying I love you, bro. let's just pause for a moment. And
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Someone's cutting them onions. Someone's cutting them onions, man. It's and I think that's it, right? I think that's, again, mindset wise, suffering included. Let's just call it that. Suffering included. If you want the results, suffering is included. And I think that's something that many of us struggle with, because the moment we hit that suffering point, the pain point, that's where the AQ kicks in. Well, it should kick in. And if you don't have a high AQ, it's because you got a low EQ. And this is why we're going back to this idea, this emotional resilience. And I just want to just like, because I am in that space working with, kids and youth and all that, let's talk about the good bully. All right. So the definition of a bully. All right. And here's the thing. What we teach in schools is that we don't believe there's such thing as a bully, but we do believe there's bullying, right? The behavior, because people could change. But in this context, we'll just call someone who does bullying, they do it over and over and over again, even when they're asked to stop. And their intention is to hurt others or hurt other people. Okay, so now we're going to reframe in the context for Ray. Ray is the good bully, meaning he is the person that's going to do something over and over and over again with the intention to help you be better, with the intention to get you what you want. So, I love kind of that framework. I mean, that could even be a book, The Good Bully. Just saying, we put it out here now. The good bully, because the reality is that most people think that, again, high pilots are bullies, but when they see their heart, like we're seeing yours time and time again, but especially today, when we see their intentions and we see what they really want for the people they serve, it hits different. And that's something that, for me, the mindset this year, like one of the biggest mindset shifts that I had this whole year was, you can't do this alone. You weren't meant to do this alone. The heart and the dreams and the vision that you have is not going to be accomplished by one person. So get that out of your mind. I've been trying to do this myself the whole time. And I remember the first meetup in Atlanta, and he was like, it's the first time we met, and he was like, so what is it you do? And I told him, so what's the problem? And I was telling him the problem. He goes, okay, you're too greedy. I was like, greedy? He was like, yeah, you don't want to let it go. You don't want to, share the opportunities. You don't want to share. He goes, you let some of that go and you'll grow. And it hit me because my heart is not a person of greed. If you know me, know me, that's far from who I am. But again, right, the perception or the perspective, let's just use that word, because, the perspective from other people, we got to take that into consideration. So it wasn't I was greedy just because I'm a greedy person, but the mindset was like, if I keep going the way I'm going, I'm not going to get far. And obviously, being in the mastermind was a reason I wanted to continue to grow. So I learned this year, like, so my mindset right now, my thinking is like, oh, okay, the trunk is speaking. And we're going to continue to grow that. We're going to continue to take all those opportunities. However, because of the community, because of the exposure, because of learning the language, because of seeing the bigger picture in the different spaces that I'm in, my mindset is just like expanded crazy. And what I love about it as a flight attendant, it's like it's expanded so much, but not in a way where I'm like, I'm going to be wasting a lot of energy, or I'm going to start and stop. No. Actually, the things that I've been thinking of, and you and I have been in conversation about this, and we can't talk about it all right now, but a lot of it is really just like, okay, here's a trunk. And because of that, here's a network and an opportunity that I can grow. Here's also another branch that also is in alignment. And here's another product or service or whatever it might be that's still all in alignment with that trunk. But then my mind says like, okay, but I can't do that. So what I got to do is build something, get people on a team. So I'll give you one of the examples. Shout out to Annie Kioe. When I was in Texas, she is like the ATC of the person she's like the ATC in the ministry space that I serve in. So, I do emotional intelligence educating. I'm in schools. There was a time where I was a youth minister and facilitating at workshops in the Bay Area. I was a youth minister for 10 years. And at the same time, I was working in elementary schools, middle schools, doing SEL education. Reach Academy, still on the forefront, creating, developing emotionally intelligent leaders so they can authentically engage and reach their audience. She says, well, how about you do this? Why don't, and she's like, I have a pool of like youth ministers or youth workers. Why don't we put them in the academy? And then because youth ministers, we don't get paid a lot. Like it's not, we ain't getting the bag like that. But why don't we they go through a certification program through you, and then we get the contracts in the schools in their area. So now, not only will they be working at their church, but now there's an opportunity for them to work at the schools in their area doing SEL education workshops. It's natural. They're from the area. They take a couple gigs a month just for some extra income. It's helping them out. It's going to help their resume out, give them more experience. She's like, everything you did for the last 10 years, we have to just duplicate that nationally. And we could do it. And she goes, do you want to do this online? Do you want to do this in person? Do you want to do it hybrid? Like she was like ATCing from her experience in this space.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just one of the many examples that I'm like, oh, this actually is in alignment. This actually makes sense. and I actually have a clear vision on what that could look like. And so, yeah, man. So with that and what you and I were talking about earlier, what the R2R podcast is putting together, I'm I don't know. COVID year is gonna be nuts, bro. So yeah, man. And again, but it took the moments of vulnerability, of the honesty, of the like, yo, this is where I'm at. I mean, for me and Ray, honestly, like I've shared probably more with Ray and than I've shared with some of my, closest friends from years, from childhood. It's been some of my day ones, right? And it's not because, one is better than the other, but the proximity that we've had with each other, the time that we've spent, we talked about day ones and day two. So, but I know I'm not where I am, especially with my mindset and watching you move if it isn't without being open, without that vulnerability. So, yeah, man.
Shout out, sis. Oh, Melissa T. The word says we go through our go through specifically to comfort others who will go through the same thing. 2 Corinthians 1, verses 3 through 5. I don't know that one, but I'm going to have to commit that to memory. Yeah, no, it's and I think that one of the other things too this year, like truly a shift for me. And it was like one of those things like I was like, yeah, cool. But from the assessment or even any business, regardless of what you do or you provide if you just get into the lens that we all serve and then just look to serve, like that's where the fruit's at. And, the fruit of the Holy Spirit is service. And anything that you find, sis, if you want to, Melissa, stop. If you want to pull up a couple, like it just says, and the Holy Spirit filled them so that they can do this. And the Holy Spirit was there so that they can do this. And the Holy Spirit was there and they were healed. Like regardless of what it is, like you serve. So the fruits of the Spirit, I know we have love, peace, joy, patience, kindness, goodness. But like at the end of the day, if you just wrapped it up into one thing, it's service. So if you just realize whether you're a pilot, flight attendant, grounds crew, ATC, if you're not familiar with any of those, type A, type B person, any of that, however you want to focus it, we all serve. And if you serve in your business and keep that heart, like we'll be good. So I think that's probably another big one, man, from this year is that just at the end of the day, just serve. If you don't know what to do, serve someone else. If you confused and you're trying to get clear, go serve someone else. That's what we got to do. Serve, provide a service, help someone.
Hey, man, especially like we always hear over the holidays where I'm like, oh, live to give. Like that should be 24/7.
Yeah.
Like that should be 24/7. And one of the things that Danielle was talking about and kind of our own, so what we're doing differently also for 24 is we're as a couple sitting down during our trip. There's like this 30-day or 30-page business plan, future plan for couples. And she's like, all right, we got to sit down. Let's do 2 pages a day. But like the intentionality behind that, I'm like, all right, for sure. Like anything you want to do, personal development, relationship development, spiritual development together, I'm all in. And one of the things that, she was talking to me about, she was like, babe, I want to get you to a point. I want to get you or us to a point where you can do all the stuff for the church for free. Like for free. Meaning there are times where there's, opportunities that just can't happen, right? Like it just doesn't make sense for me to, if I'm traveling, I mean, I try to do as much as I can to like help out. But if this is my only source of income at the moment, like we want to get to a place where like, that's not even a factor because we just want to give. Because we know not all parishes, not all churches, not all areas are like where I came from in Cali or, this places where I'm working now. But that doesn't mean that we can't serve elsewhere. So really getting to that point, we said in 24 is something that we really want to push towards so that we have the freedom. And this is where the 5 pillars comes in. We have the freedom to just do what, not do what we want to do. Let me reframe that to, take the gigs that I might not have normally taken serve the people I might not have normally been able to serve because maybe I'm tired of doing other things. And so we're just really creating a path for freedom to be able to serve more in more ways. All right, to serve more in more ways. And again, we are surrounded with a community of people who are doing just that. I mean, who goes, right? Like part of our fam, like who goes and helps out a family, moving them to where they're at, like taking care of them, like just to genuinely want to see them win. It's not a common thing that I see, but it's more common now because I see it from the same person all the time.
Oh yeah.
Right. We have people in our community that we know like that's just what they do. And over time, you just like, that exposure to it, it's just gonna permeate. And all of a sudden, like we're doing our own version of that. So let me just make that clear, y'all. When you see people in the community and you just see people that are just giving enough service, know that you have your own type of service to give. So let their examples be how you could be in your own way and not try to do exactly what they're doing or how they're doing it, because it doesn't always work out. Doesn't always work out. So yeah, man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing, y'all. R2R community, we love y'all. Like for reals. Ray and I, honestly, we went from just this private Zoom meetings to like record this and document it to like, hey, let's go live, to like, hey, let's get some interview. Hey, let's go. I mean, the fact where we got a sponsor. Shout out to, again, Absolute Comfort and Son LLC. And I loved it because exposure, I don't know if Mike shared it with you, and I'm gonna let him share it with you, but he shared with me some news on like just how some of the exposure supported some of his most recent business. Because he had a platform, because he had people who believe in him and still believe him and now want to share his work with the world. Service.
Give and it shall be given unto you.
Come on.
That's all that is. Give and it shall be given unto you. That is not a math problem. That's one of those problems like it's written out so literal that you're like, but like it's literal in a sense. I didn't want to miss this question for Silas. He said, how do you constantly operate as you for someone else without losing focus? How do you constantly operate as you for someone else without losing focus? You want to get that? I think I'm understanding it right, but
I mean, obviously there's a couple questions I would have in asking that, but just generally speaking, I think about when I used to work at the hospital and I was working my 12-hour shifts. Again, I worked in a mental hospital, adult mental health for 11 years before taking the leap and leaving and working on my own. But I would remember going to the hospital, but working on my speaking notes and trying to put a keynote together, or thinking about, the youth ministry, what I'm going to do on Sunday, because we're doing that part-time. But and then again, working in the hospital setting, sometimes, just flat out, full transparency, sometimes it's harder to work with the staff than it is the patients. Like the because of all the things that you're around, all the politics you're around, and at the hospital where I was at, honestly, you were just a number in the count. Meaning nobody cared about, what you had going on outside of work and if your kids had this or the holidays you were just a number in the count. So I would see the culture of the shift of people. Not that they were necessarily, like bad people, but you could just tell over time how a lot of the environment started changing them in ways that maybe they didn't even really notice. So I think about, how did I stay true to myself when I was working for the state of California while still trying to stay focused on the prize? So because I come from a ministry background, my answer is Miami. All right, not Miami, Florida. All right, Miami is an acronym. Make it a ministry immediately. I share this with all my students, all my young adults, like wherever you go into the workforce, it doesn't have to be a church job. Make it a ministry immediately. Everywhere you go and everything you do, treat it as a ministry in the sense of, I'm going to bring the gifts that I have. I'm going to be my most authentic self. God put me here to serve somebody. So when I thought about the mental health institution, folks who are bipolar, schizophrenic, like this is their home, not mine. So how can I make this as comfortable for them in my own way and still being professional and still, of course, keeping the boundaries? And I'm just being me. So the idea that make it a ministry immediately can apply in all aspects of our life. So I would say, Sabas, and anyone who struggles with, being yourself, the mindset is like, look, who am I here serving? Because even so, we're not serving a boss. We're still serving people, depending on your industry. And then how can I have the mindset of like, okay, God put me here to learn something. God put me here to develop something out of me. God put me here to grow in some way, shape, or form, so that when I get to the next assignment, I'll be that much stronger. When I get to the next assignment, I'll have that much more vision or much more clarity. So when I look at even just wherever job you're in, I look at everything as a stepping stone. Sometimes you're stepping up, sometimes you're stepping down, but everything in life is a stepping stone. There's no end goal, y'all. Like, so for me, that was kind of my mindset of like, okay, I'm not going to worry too much about the other people, or I'm not going to let it phase me, and I'm not going to let it change me. Although it could have been easy to just, fall into the trap of what everyone else was doing. But I was like, I knew I wasn't being myself if that was the case. And I'm my most authentic self if I'm in a ministry mindset, in the sense of service to others. And then from there, I just kind of held true to that until it was time to take the leap, and I took my leap. So hopefully that helped a little bit, Sabas. What's up, Ray? What do you think?
I just from the context, I just think it's one of those things is like, how do you continue to be you by serving others without, and I think when he meant without losing focus, as far as like without losing who you are. Some of the things that happen in relationships, that one is serving one side so much that they lose who they are and they get lost in it and they don't even know why they were doing it in the first place. I would just encourage to continue to know who you are. Know who you are, know who you want to be, and again, for the intent of serving others, whoever that other person is. If it's in your household, if it's outside your household, the best thing you can do is like say, if you want to give more, you have to become more, and it's you, like your growth, and that way they become recipients of your overflow, of your growth, of your abundance, and everything that you have. It's a constant, like I said, it's constant work, not from an exhausting standpoint, but like just continue to understand that as you develop and you focus on you're impacting others. That's your growth and your presence. Eventually you said the thing like your presence alone becomes impact. So how do you lose focus? Just understand that as you focus on you, again, not in a selfish way, but as you grow, your growth impacts others. It inspires others. They see it. They're recipients of it. So increase who you are, but increase it for the intent of serving others. If you're trying to grow just so you can make money, it's not going to work, and people will see that. But if you're trying to improve in a way to where you can share your trials and tribulations with somebody else so they don't have to go through it, but you can comfort them, as my sister Melissa specifically pointed out in 2 Corinthians, if you can learn whatever it is, the good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between, all of it is like, understand the focus should be you for the intent of them. Focus on growing you for the intent of impacting them. Because it's service. And you continue to grow through that service. So
I love it. And then I think just to finish up too with that last piece around focus, right? It's a very cliche saying, but there's so much power in it. Start with the end in mind. And when you talk about focus, I am starting with the end in mind. Where do I want my life to be? Where do I want my health to be? Where do I want my marriage to be? So while I'm doing all the other things and I'm in these other phases and stages and stepping stones in my life, I'm starting with the end in mind. And that's something that helps me keep focused. So, people do it in different ways. They got the vision boards, they got the, pictures on their phone, on their desk, whatever that might be. But if you can keep that mindset of starting with the end in mind and knowing that you have an abundance mindset, that there is so much to go around for all of us and not scarcity, that for me is what makes it more attainable, right? Because I think sometimes we get in the mindset of start with the end in mind, but I can't do that, right? Or I'm not sure if I have what it takes. And then we start getting in our head, and then it just goes downhill from there. So for me, when I think about the word focus, right, the idea, your Jim Quick, what is it? Your focus goes where your energy flows.
Yeah.
But start with the end in mind, bro. Like really every single day. And I remember E would tell us, look at your vision 3 times a day, 5 times a day. Like he would do these exercises early on, and in my mind I was like, for reals? But then it was like, actually, when you see it throughout the day, you're rewiring your brain, you're changing the patterns in your thinking. And I'm like, oh, that's why we do it. That's why we start with the end in mind. That's why we keep it at the forefront. That's why we take all of the words that have a negative connotation out of our vocabulary. That's why we just surround ourselves with the people who we don't even have to explain, entrepreneurship or mindset to. Like Ray and I's conversations are not like, oh, well, what do you think? I mean, I don't know. Like it's not even we don't need a pep talk from each other. Like when I go to Ray now, it's like, bro, all right, I need your pilot. Tell me what you think. Boom, boom, break it down. I'm not always going to understand what he's saying or even agree or even, it's not going to make me feel good all the time, but that's not the point. All right. My job is to train the 88% of the world in EQ to be able to have healthy and fruitful conversations with the pilots of the world. And Ray is what he's doing. And I noticed the way he's moving now is he's learning how to speak pilot to the 88% that are not naturally wired like him, which is going to make him a game changer and us a game changer because it's going to be a 1-2 punch. So I'm just saying, y'all, looking forward to 2024, y'all. 2024. All right, y'all. So 2024, let's just talk about, right? What's one thing, again, and this is not the final episode of the year, but like just real quick before we dip off, like what's one thing you are looking forward to in 2024 for the R2R podcast?
Oh, hey, growth, continued growth. There's going to be a much more intentional business aspect side of the road to results. The podcast will obviously remain, but we incorporated for a reason. So, everybody will see it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to those things coming to fruition and then having this conversation at the end of the year, ideally in person.
Come on. Yeah, we got some. So Ray and I, we are doing our end of the year meeting to kind of like vision out 24. So I'm definitely looking forward to the growth. I think something specifically I'm looking forward to is that what you just said, the vision to fruition cycle program that's being put together. So there is a model behind what we're doing, not like, we got that. So the 5 C's, if you didn't see that, you got to catch that episode. It's coming out. And then, I'm just like in my mind thinking right now, like of a hashtag of what our in-person meetups are going to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like we are growth or results or something. We are results. I mean, I'm trying to figure out something. I just thought of it because it'd be dope. Like all of us get together. Yeah, we can still definitely we're going to be doing the workshops, or we're going to be doing the summits. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to be more intentional of where we're housing everything, how we're putting things together. But I do like the idea of like a results, kind of like what Eva, shout out to Eva. That's what the Lions Club, the Lions Den, they just be rolling out her and her community. It's like, oh, get the points, get to this, get to that. And they just jump on a plane and end up going anywhere in the country and just meet up. Right? Because they got the, you know what I'm saying? Like that, to me, I always get inspired by that in the sense of because we can. So I think I'm looking forward to building out that type of mindset in our community, but helping our people get to those results so that we can have the play. Like I say, work hard, play harder, pray hardest. All right, let's just keep it right there, y'all. Work hard, but play harder, but pray hardest. And we want to show you that in real time, what hard work looks like, what playing harder looks like, AKA we going to Belgium. but what praying hardest looks like, because none of this happens without our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and celebrating his birth this month. Right? And he says it all the time. We get the phenomenal life and he gets the glory. That's it. And if we're not doing it in that order, or if we're not always pointing it back to him, shame on us. And there might be a reason why we're not getting to where we want to get to. Just saying. All right, final thoughts, my bro.
I don't know. We already got the emotions out of there. Maybe you get one episode next year as well.
That's that once a year, maybe twice a year if you're lucky.
Maybe twice a year. Yeah, it's the season. Nah, man. I just want to encourage everybody. Hey, so as we, man, this year's coming to a close quickly. Like we just said, if we look back on this year, just I challenge y'all to reflect. The good stuff. Just, I think sometimes we look at the bad and like, oh, I could have done that different. I could have done that different. You know, what are some of the things that you did well? You know, that you did well. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. What did you do? Give him glory, but then I want to make sure that we understand, is your work and is your service glorifying him? And if it's not, what adjustments are you going to make? Not are you willing to make, are you going to make moving into 2024? And start now. It's like we said, do it right.
Do it now, or do it right, and then do it
right now.
Right now. One more time. We'll say it one more time.
What adjustments are you going to make? And when you've identified them, do it right, and do it right now. You don't have to wait. This doesn't have to be a New Year's resolution that probably isn't going to last anyways. Make the adjustment in your life to make it a lifestyle. That way, when we're at the end of 2024, as LD would say, if the Lord spares us life, that you look back and you're just like, man, all the honor and all the glory to the Most High, but I know that I did, and the fruits of my labor glorify him, which has now created abundance in me. And you may have to make some adjustments, some uncomfortable ones. You may have to slow down, or you may have to speed up. Mm-hmm. It's just as difficult for us that move fast to sit down and slow down. That's why I appreciate that note from my sister so much. But for those of you that kind of move slow, it's going to be uncomfortable. There are risks that are going to happen. You are going to make mistakes. But you can't teach nobody, and you can't be, as Shad said it earlier, you can't have a testimony without the tests. You got to be able to share that with somebody.
Come on,
so,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it right
just
there.
and then just find an opportunity to serve somebody. You know, I'm not talking about going out buying a gift. Find an opportunity before the end of this year. Just go serve somebody.
Yeah.
Find a need, and fill it.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna throw out an extra one there, because this is what I'm telling my kids today at class. During the holidays, when you're off school, think about those people who may not have the same type of family or support or people around them, and you give them a call, shoot a text. This episode is going to be out before Christmas, so we know who those people are that might not have the same people they had last year. We know people who might not have anyone, or maybe they're in a whole different situation. So reach out, a simple text, a simple, video message. Hey, I'm thinking of you. Happy holidays, whatever it is, check in, right? We know these can be some bittersweet times for a lot of people for different reasons. And I'm gonna say time and time again, that's another way you could be of service. It's just by sharing that smile, getting some coffee with someone, just seeing how someone is doing can go so much further.
What do you say, right? You say check in before they check out?
Check in before they check out. And then this is the time, this is the season where people who are feeling at their most loneliest, who are feeling most isolated, who are feeling most unseen. And of course, as we know, the weather doesn't help, the darkness, the cold. So yeah, check in before they check out. Check in before they check out. All right, fam. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us this whole time, or whenever you watch this. Again, as always, episodes drop every Tuesday. So we, again, Ray and I, we love y'all. We wish y'all a Merry Christmas. Be with your loved ones. Remember, look back to look forward, but always stay present. Always stay present. Why? Because your presence is the best present. All right, your presence is the best gift that you can give your loved ones and your family. So, from Ray and I, Merry Christmas. And as we always say, don't just go with us.
Grow with us. Let's go. Be where your feet are.
Peace.
Be where your feet are.
Yeesh.